So we're going to look at one definition of acids, the Arrhenius definition, named after Svante Arrhenius, who came up with it. So under this definition, an acid is a substance that produces hydroxide ions in aqueous solution. And a base is a substance that produces hydroxide ions in aqueous solution. And this definition goes along with probably much of what you've learned about acids and bases so far. So, did not mean to do that. What happened? Well, I don't know. I lost the highlights. It's okay. So HCl is an acid. It fits this definition because it produces hydrogen ions in solution. HCl is a molecular compound. It's composed of two nonmetals, hydrogen and chlorine. They're bonded with a covalent bond. There are no ions in pure HCl. But when you dissolve it in water, it forms ions. Okay? So it ionizes. So when HCl is dissolved in water, it forms hydrogen ions and chloride ions. And so that fits the definition of an acid.
Would pure HCl still be considered aqueous?
No. Pure HCl is a gas, actually, and it would be named hydrogen chloride or hydrogen monochloride. I'm having some issues here. Hydrogen ions are very reactive. Stop and think about what exactly is a hydrogen ion? What's in a hydrogen atom?
Proton.
How many protons? One. And how many electrons?
0.
Well,
In the atom, there's one. And so when we make an H plus ion, then there's 0 electrons. So it's just a proton. So it's just a bare little proton running around, right? So very, very reactive. It does not have an octet or a duet of electrons. It has no electrons. So it will react with lots of things. So in an aqueous solution, there are water molecules around. So the hydrogen ions will react with water to form hydronium ions. The hydronium ion is H3O+. So here we have, this is a Lewis structure for water. Here's our hydrogen ion. It has no electrons. And so it wants a duet of electrons like any hydrogen atom would. And so it's going to come and hang on this water molecule, and the oxygen is going to share one of its lone pairs with the hydrogen. So in this covalent bond, both of the electrons came from the oxygen, and so that's what's called a coordinate covalent bond. Oxygen's just being really generous and sharing with the hydrogen. Yes? What's this thing? There are other species that also exist. You can have more than one hydrogen ion on a water molecule. I know. What? We're not going to be worried about that, but it can happen. So we tend to use H plus aqueous and H3O plus aqueous interchangeably. And what we mean by that, even when we say H plus aqueous, is that the hydrogen ion is attached to a water molecule. So I think of hydrogen ions as a little bit like very small babies, newborn baby, 3-month-old baby, right? And they do not go out by themselves, right? You send the 3-month-old to the store for milk? No. Do you leave him outside on the sidewalk? I hope not, right? They're never out by themselves. Someone's holding them. And so the water molecule here is like the parent or the babysitter is holding the hydrogen ion. You think of the hydrogen ion as riding piggyback on the water molecule. And what we're going to see is that the hydrogen ion can jump back and forth between different particles, but we're never going to actually see the hydrogen ion by himself. So sometimes we use H plus in a chemical equation because it makes the equation so much simpler, But we understand that anytime we have H plus aqueous, the hydrogen ion is actually riding on a water molecule. Okay. For a base, sodium hydroxide fits the Arrhenius definition of a base because it produces hydroxide ions in solution. Now, sodium hydroxide is an ionic compound. So when it dissolves in water, it doesn't form ions, but the already existing ions dissociate from each other. They separate. So here we have sodium hydroxide dissolving in water. It separates into sodium and hydroxide ions. And we can write a chemical equation for that. Acids and bases combine and neutralize each other. The hydrogen ions from the acid and hydroxide ions from the base react with each other to form water. Another definition of acid and base is the Bronsted-Lowry definition, and this applies to a wider range of compounds. Here, instead of focusing on the formation of hydrogen ions in solution, we're talking about the transfer of hydrogen ions from one thing to another. And so the acid is the hydrogen ion donor, or the proton donor, because a hydrogen ion is a proton. And the base is the proton acceptor. So the base accepts the proton, the acid donates the proton. So the base is like the babysitter. When the parent needs a break, the parent hands off the baby to the babysitter, right? So the acid is donating or giving its proton to the base. So if we look at HCl aqueous plus H2O, what's going to happen here is that a proton, hydrogen ion from the HCl is going to be donated from here to here. And so now instead of H2O, we have H3O plus, and what we have left over here is Cl minus. So the HCl donated a hydrogen ion. Yes?
So the reason why basic solutions are really dangerous is because if you consume them, they strip all the hydrogen or protons from like molecules in your cells.
Well, it really, the danger of like drinking drain cleaner or something with a strong base in it really has more to do with what bases do to proteins and other biological molecules. They mess up their shapes, they denature them, a lot like cooking does. And so if you think about an egg and you heat it up, right, it changes. And adding a base to an egg will cause similar changes, and they're irreversible. So ammonia is a base, even though it doesn't contain hydroxide ions. But it will accept a proton from water. So NH3 plus H2O, this is a base. It can accept the proton. So this is the base. And here, the H2O is donating the proton, so that makes it the acid. And then we get NH4 plus and OH minus. So an H plus has gone from the NH3 to the H2O. Mm-hmm.
So we count water as an acid because
Mm-hmm.
it's donating the electron?
Yep.
Or, yeah, proton.
And water can also act as a base. So if we look at what HCl does in water, HCl is the acid donating the proton or the hydrogen ion, and here water is acting as the base accepting the proton. So H2O becomes H3O plus, and HCl becomes Cl minus. So in order for an acid or a base to behave as such, there has to be a partner. Did you have a question?
That was my question. I was going to say if NH3 is paired with water, we would know that the NH3 is the base because it accepts the proton from the water.
The NH3 is the base because it accepts the proton from the water. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, it does produce hydroxide ions in solution. But that's not really obvious because you look at NH3 and how can that form OH minus ions. I mean, sodium hydroxide, that makes sense. It just separates. Yes?
Okay, this is kind of like a little bit far back. Could you ever get nitric acid from mixing ammonia and water? Because all the atoms are there, but if you can you rearrange and
I don't think it would be easy to get nitric acid from ammonia and water. Yes, all the atoms are there, but I don't think the reaction would occur to produce that. You do want to be really careful with ammonia and acids, though, because it makes some really bad gases that can kill you. Yeah. So water can act as an acid or as a base. And so we have a word for that. It's called amphoteric. Kind of like amphibian, right? Amphibians live in the water or on the land. They can go either. They're fine. And so something that can be an acid or a base is said to be amphoteric. Let's look at what happens if we reverse the acid-base reaction. So we looked at ammonia reacting with water and saw that the ammonia took a hydrogen ion from the water and became NH4+. Let's do it the other way around. Here, NH4+ plus hydroxide ion. Now the NH4+ is acting as an acid. It's going to donate its proton to the hydroxide ion. So here we have, this is the acid, and this is the base. So the acid transfers its proton, and after it has done that, it becomes a base. The base accepts a proton, and after it has done that, it becomes an acid.
So does this directly have to do with pH levels? Like when pH isn't as low, and that's why it's acting as a base?
Well, this does have to do with pH levels. Actually, it's more correct to say that pH levels are because of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Because whether we see this as an equilibrium, which way the equilibrium lies depends on the specific weak acid or weak base that we're talking about and how strong its affinity for the hydrogen ion is. So the substance that was the acid has become the base and vice versa. So now this is a base and this is an acid. Yes?
so do we only get salts and water from Arrhenius acid-base reactions?
No, you can get salts from any acid-base reactions. I mean, it doesn't have to be an Arrhenius base, because this could still give you a salt. It just here you're just looking at it reacting with hydroxide ion. So it depends. So those pairs, the ammonia and the ammonium ion, the H2O and the hydroxide ion, they're said to be conjugate acid-base pairs. And the difference between the acid and the base in the pair is just a proton. So to go from the base to the conjugate acid, you add an H+, you add a proton. If you go from the acid to the base, you remove the proton. So a conjugate acid-base pair are two species that differ only by an H+. One has it, the other doesn't. So here we're asked, in each reaction, identify the Bronsted-Lowry acid, the Bronsted-Lowry base, the conjugate acid, and the conjugate base. Now, we should be familiar with the names of these different definitions, but if you don't remember what the definition for Bronsted-Lowry acid is, just skip over the Bronsted-Lowry part and say, where's the acid? What's the acid? You're going to end up with the same answer. So if we look at this reaction, we're going to look and see that this is C5H5N, and over here, this one's very similar, right? How is this one different than the reactant? It has a proton on it. So this guy over here accepted a proton from the water. Is it an acid or a base? It's a base. So that must be a base, and H2O must be acting as the acid, because you can't have one without the other. So after this has accepted the proton, now it becomes the conjugate acid. It is the conjugate acid of this base. And hydroxide is the conjugate base of water.
Do conjugate acid-base pairs only occur at equilibrium?
No, they could occur at any time. Here we have HNO3 and H2O. Who's acting as the acid? The acid, yeah. So in Chem 1A, we learned that if we see a formula that starts with H, it's an acid, right? And that's still true here. But we can also find some other things that act as acids. But yeah, this is the acid. This is nitric acid. So this is going to act as the acid. And it is donating a proton to the water molecule. So the water is acting as the base. And here we have the hydronium ion. This is the conjugate base. Sorry, the conjugate acid. And nitrate ion is the conjugate base. Any questions? The ones on the left, regardless of where the equilibrium lies, you just look at how the reaction is written. Whatever is written as the reactants, those are the acid and the base, and the products are the conjugates, just because. But you should be able to identify that these two go together. The only difference is one of them has the H plus and one of them doesn't. So of these pairs, which pair is not a conjugate acid-base pair? B. So, yeah, so these guys are very similar to each other, but they both have 2 hydrogens. One has 4 oxygens, one has 3 oxygens. They have to differ by a hydrogen ion. And so if we look at these guys, you don't know how to name these guys, but that's okay. You can look at the formulas and say, oh, the formulas are exactly the same, except this one has another hydrogen and it is +1 in charge compared to that one. Down here, HNO2 and NO2 minus. This one has the hydrogen and its charge is positive compared to this one. Okay.